1 in 2 LGBTIQA+ people in Western Australia had experienced some form of intimate partner violence or family and domestic violence.
We know that it exists, and much of the community may not even be aware that it is occurring.
We often don't see ourselves reflected in mainstream campaigns that are often directed to women and children, quite rightly so. The Pride and Respect campaign is really important because we need to see ourselves and we need to understand what family and domestic violence is in our relationships to be able to name it.
We must start talking about intimate partner violence, family violence and elder abuse. We know it occurs at probably about the same rates as it's occurring in the heterosexual community, but we just don't have the services that we desperately need to address this problem.
We know that there are significant gaps in research and in service provision. In order for that to be addressed, we need to bring awareness to it. And by having it led by the lived experience, we know that there is a better chance of those issues being addressed.
If people don't see themselves in the messaging, they don't see themselves in the solution. And so the Pride and Respect campaign is really about starting the conversation with community and by community to ensure that our needs and our unique circumstances are reflected in responses to family and domestic violence.
If we don't even acknowledge that violence is happening in our communities or abuse is happening, then how do we even take that first step to preventing it if we don't even acknowledge that it's a problem?
LGBTIQA+ people have unique experiences of family and domestic violence.
Because it's an area that is not well understood and not well known, we were very keen to make sure that the subtleties and the variations that come under the term LGBTI elder abuse were highlighted in this campaign.
When I was experiencing intimate partner violence and I was in a relationship with a woman, it was a really isolating experience because I felt like I didn't really have anyone that I could reach out to for support. It was years and years after that relationship ended before I felt brave enough to tell people why I even left. The impact of that abuse was just there for so many years afterwards. There's a fear that if we talk about that stuff that's happening in our communities, that people might use that against us.
Not only do we need to make sure that people feel safe in their relationships, but we also need to make sure that people feel safe in the services that they are accessing.
Pride and Respect campaign will ignite the conversation that we need to have.
Unless we actually start bringing visibility to this issue and talking about it in all of its nuance and complexity and actually having a meaningful and engaged conversation about what family and domestic violence looks like in our communities, we're not in a position to be able to actually address the problem. And so actually starting the conversation is the first step in affecting change.
Everyone deserves to feel safe. Everyone deserves to feel heard, because everyone deserves healthy relationships.